Hi guys, it's story time again. So I thought that we would go back to Strangford Lough and find out how Scrabo's getting on. Do you remember Scrabo from Monday? He got lost and ended up at the aquarium in Portaferry, and then he went back into the Strangford Lough again and found his mum. Well, this is another story all about Scrabo since he found his mum again. And it's called Scrabo and the Brent Goose. So there's the Brent Goose there. So shall we find out what happens with Scrabo and the Brent Goose? I'm really looking forward to it. So there we go. There's Scrabo and his mum again, do you see? Here we go. Scrabo and his mother lived in a beautiful part of Ireland called Strangford Lough. Although he was not very old, Scrabo was no stranger to adventure. When he was a very young pup, he had been caught up in the dangerous tidal currents in the middle of the loch. His mother thought that she had lost her little boy forever, but thankfully Scrabo was rescued and returned to her once more. Do you remember? You do, fantastic. For months after his rescue, she swam protectively beside him. It was only recently that she had allowed her little Scrabo to leave her side and explore Strangford Lough for himself. Wonder where he's going to go to. Look, there he is. Do you see him down there exploring? Scrabo was nervous but excited to be exploring Strangford Lough alone. He headed up the loch, swimming skillfully through the seaweed, round the shore. He glided happily through the water, chasing little fish. Finally, he pulled himself up out of the water for a rest. Must be very tired after all that. As Scrabo lay relaxing on the rocks, a strange-looking bird landed on the grassy bank nearby. The poor creature lay breathless and exhausted, as if it had been flying for quite some time. Scrabo, full of curiosity, wriggled over to get a closer look. The bird was about the same size as some of the ducks he had seen swimming on the loch. Its head and neck were black, apart from a small white patch on each side of its neck. See? The black there, and then there's the white bit. It had grey, brown, black back and a pale belly. Scrabo was sure that he hadn't seen a bird like this around the loch before and wondered where it had come from. Do you know where they're come from? Shall we find out? The strange bird turned its head and looked with tired eyes towards Scrabo. As if able to read his mind, she hissed breathlessly, "My name is Amelia. I am a Brent Goose. I hope I'm not disturbing you, but I really need to rest here for a while, as I have just flown for many miles to reach Ireland." "It's a pleasure to meet you, Amelia," Scrabo replied. "I am Scrabo the Strangford Seal. Stay here and relax for as long as you like." Scrabo lay beside Amelia for quite some time to keep her company. When she had rested, he listened quietly as Amelia explained how every autumn she flew on a long and dangerous journey with her family from the Canadian Arctic to her winter home in Strangford Lough. All the way from Canada? Do you know where Canada is? It's all the way above America. If you get out a map, you should be able to find it. Or ask Mummy to look it up on the map for you on the internet. As dusk began to fall, Scrabo realised that it was getting very late, and he didn't want to leave his new friend, but he knew that he had to return to his mother before she'd start to worry. Amelia also needed to join her family at the north end of Strangford Lough. Scrabo and Amelia arranged to meet again at the eelgrass beds the following day. Then Scrabo slipped into the water, waved his flipper towards Amelia, and glided swiftly away. He couldn't wait to tell his mother about his new friend. Oh, he's all excited. Do you think his mum will be happy? I'm sure she would. Wow, look at all these Brent geese. The next morning, Scrabo set off early, swimming northwards. He had never ventured as far up Strangford Lough before. As he approached the northern shores, Scrabo knew that he was travelling in the right direction, for he could hear the loud gabbling of the Brent geese from some distance away. As he swam closer, he could see the geese feeding on the succulent eel grass. There were lots and lots of Brent geese, and they were very noisy. Scrabo wondered how he would ever find his friend. Do you think he's going to find him? He needn't have worried. There she is. Amelia had been watching for his arrival. She swam excitedly over and bobbed happily beside him in the water. That winter was wonderful. Scrabo and Amelia became the very best of friends. Every day they explored Strangford Loch. They discovered lots of little islands and met many of the other creatures who lived in the loch. Each night, Amelia's family appeared overhead in a V formation to collect her. Scrabo always watched as she flew into the air to join them, and then he swam back to his mother for a good night's rest. Oh, it's lovely spending the day together. Look at that beautiful, beautiful sunset. As winter turned into spring and the weather became milder, Amelia turned to her sail companion. Scrabo, my dear friend, she honked, it is time for me to leave these beautiful shores and return to the Arctic once more. Scrabo was so upset. He didn't want his special friend to leave. What would he do without Amelia? He would miss her so much. Why don't you stay with me? He cried. I must return to my Arctic home, Amelia regretfully replied. Oh, so she has to leave? It will take me about 6 weeks to fly home, she explained. I will firstly fly across the sea to Iceland. I will be in the air for around 20 hours to get there. That's nearly a full day. I will stay in Iceland for about 8 weeks to feed and build up my strength. I always put on so much weight in Iceland that if you saw me, you wouldn't recognise me. I need this extra weight to give me the strength to complete my long journey. Scrabo managed a small smile as he imagined Amelia as a fat, grass-gobbling goose. It is a bit funny, isn't it? Look at that. I will carry on my journey across Greenland and the ice cap, Amelia continued. The scenery is so beautiful. As I fly across the Arctic, I will see huge icebergs floating in the cold, clear water below. When I see the shores of Canada in the distance, I know that I have not much further to travel. It is such a relief when I reach Canada at last. Even though I love Ireland, it is great to return to the Arctic once more. See all the big ice patches? Oh, it must be really cold there. Scrabo began to cry. Oh, poor Scrabo. I will never see you again, he wailed. Of course you will, Amelia assured him. I only stay in the Arctic Canada for 3 months. The weather there is harsh and is very cold. During that time, many of the Brent geese will lay eggs and have little baby geese. They will hatch, which will hatch. We have to be careful because foxes and polar bears like to steal the eggs. Then, when the goslings are big enough and my new flight feathers have grown, my family and I will leave Canada and we will make our journey back to Ireland once more. I will return to you in the autumn. Wasn't that lovely? She's going to come back. Just then, a familiar V shape appeared in the sky. It was Amelia's family. They were ready to depart on their long journey and had come to collect her. Amelia flew upwards. She rested for a moment at the top of the tall Millennium Stone that stood on the shores of Strangford Loch and looked down at Scrabo paddling in the water below. See you in the autumn, she cried. Scrabo watched with tearful eyes as Amelia rose into the sky to join her family. He knew that he would miss his friends so much, but spring and summer would pass quickly and it soon would be autumn, when Amelia and the other Brent geese would once again return to Strangford Loch. He looked forward to hearing about Amelia's journey, and he was sure that by the time they met again, he would have many other adventures of his own to tell. As the Brent geese flew out of sight, Scrabo turned and swam swiftly through the loch back to his mother once more. Wasn't that lovely? There they are. There's the Brent geese all flying away. I enjoyed that story. I enjoyed hearing about Scrabo's adventures. So I hope you enjoyed it too, and I will see you next time. Bye!